Hello and welcome to Conversations That Connect. We are your hosts Suki and Tayla.
Join us as we explore the IT, digital, accounting and finance recruitment industry and dive into the factors shaping our careers and life.
Get ready for engaging discussions that bridge work, life and really everything in between.
Grab your headphones, sit back and let's explore the connections that drive success. Happy 2026, everyone.
How fast is that happened?
Finally here.
Well, it feels like yesterday we were looking at the 2032 Olympic Games going, oh, that's ages away. Now it's 6 years ago, 6 years to go.
And I bet you will be saying in 6 years' time, I cannot believe that it's here.
I literally, just thinking about the Olympic Games, I on my holiday, I caught up with friends that I used to work with in Dublin, and their kids are focused on the Olympic Games for 3032.
Over there?
Wow. Yeah, so their kids are, they're athletes. So for them, in 6 years' time, they'll be of age to be qualifying to get into the Olympic Games. Like that's crazy to think about that. But yep, that's where we are. 26. Everybody had a good rest. We're all ready to go for this year. I had a great holiday. Ayla had a great holiday too. She stayed local. I went overseas and yeah, local as in Fraser Island, just Harvey Bay. Beautiful.
Turquoise water, swimming every day, jumping off the boat, like everything. It was beautiful. It was well needed. I think the first half of my holiday was spent back in my hometown in New South Wales. So, you do the old see all the family, see all the friends, all of that, so that you're not really stopping the whole time. But I think that time that we spent at Harvey Bay and then Fraser on the boat, it was well needed. It was like we spent 2 weeks over there. Like that's how rested we felt. Even if it was just like a week, it was well needed. And there's just something about being on the water.
Yep. It
and
just
in the sun
calms you.
Yeah.
It just has that effect. We traveled a bit overseas and I have to say Australia is just, other countries are beautiful, but Australia is just magical.
We're very
lucky. That time away, but we were very happy to come home and be here. Go from -9 to 36 degrees. Big shock to the system.
I could not have done the cold. Could not.
It was cold. It was really cold.
But worth it.
Yeah, it was. It was amazing. It was a really good family holiday. Last one with our one that just finished school. So it was the last big family holiday with all of us. Yes. So making memories, which
very special.
That's what life's all about. Just making the memories. To make the memories, we have to work. So it's a bit of a one hand feeds the other. We were thinking about what do we talk about today? And we can talk about where the market's at and what the market's doing. It just feels like it's a little bit slow in comparison to last year.
Yes, steady but slow.
Yeah, it's kicking off a little bit slower than it did last year, but we also started slowing down earlier last year in around October, where it's usually around November time. And usually by this time we're up and running and there's quite a few things happening. It's just not been the case. It's definitely, there's things happening. It's just slower. So when I'm finding that the conversations we're having, it sounds like that's around the traps. There's one or two areas that are expanding and growing and recruitment happening, but mostly I feel again, it's just a bit of caution.
Yeah.
It's a bit of cautious hiring. So we thought instead of having that conversation, we'll talk about myths and facts in the market and recruitment space. So just to keep it a little bit light and a little bit interesting, we've got a few myths and a few facts.
Yeah. Some of them surprising as
Yes.
well. Yeah.
Okay, I'll start. I'll
Go
ask
for
the
it.
question. Are the first applicants for a role usually the strongest applicants? Is that
Myth.
true or a myth?
It's a myth. And prime example, we're working on a contract role at the moment. And what have we had it up for? A week?
Yeah.
Just
Today's a
maybe
week.
a week. And we're still getting really great applicants come through. So we are, although we've submitted, we're still submitting because there is great candidates still coming through. So that's definitely a myth.
Yep.
But in saying that though, I know people might have the perception once you've submitted, that's it, it's done, you've submitted, where we are constantly checking the applications. Unless there's a solid closing date like government, physically we cannot. But no, that's definitely a myth as well.
And I think as part of the recruitment process, you always keep your eye on the roles as applications come in. Of course, we do a very big network search when we do get a role. So you're not only getting applications, but you're getting people coming back to you.
Mhm.
And especially this time of year, maybe this week is the week people start getting into the rhythm because schools start, Australia Day is done. So there has been a little bit of a delay. So yes, that's definitely a myth. And don't stop looking at great candidates because they're out there. They might not be the first to apply.
Exactly.
Is ghosting something that only happens to candidates?
I think
No,
everyone gets
unfortunately not.
ghosted. Recruiters, hiring managers, like just everyone gets ghosted. It's not an uncommon thing that happens in the industry. Whether you're working with an agent, whether you're working with a client, a candidate, or a company directly, there is always people that ghost you.
Yeah.
Either
And
side.
unfortunately, it's also candidates that ghost us.
Yeah.
That happens as well. So, yep, myth. No, candidates, you aren't the only ones that are being ghosted. Yep. This is a good one. Is salary the main reason candidates change jobs?
No.
No, it's not. And especially in the last few years, it's definitely a factor, but the working flexibility has definitely played a big role in the last few years.
And the environment and the culture of the workplace as well. I know people who have left a very well high paying jobs and toxic culture. They just weren't treated right, to then taking quite a substantial cut because they could, like, to be honest, they were able to, and they're thriving more than ever because of the culture, the flexibility. They were very much like they needed that break, and salary wasn't everything to them. I think it depends on also the individual, and some people are money driven, others are more cultural flexibility driven. So no, it's not the main reason, but for some, yes.
Yeah, there are outliers there, but I think it's still the people leave people. If it's a toxic working environment, you don't want to be there.
Yeah.
This is another one that feeds into that. Is a flexible or hybrid working arrangement now considered essential by our top talent?
Yes.
Yes.
That is the number one question we get asked when we're recruiting for, I would say everyone asks that question, or like everyone. That I don't think there's not one person that hasn't asked, what's the working arrangement? Is it flexible? Is it hybrid? Where's the location? Like, what's the deal around that? So yes, I would say that often weighs heavier than the money.
Absolutely. 5 years ago, the money was the first question. Now the first question is definitely the working arrangements. We've seen a change in that where it's becoming more and more office based, and it's been interesting just with my travels in December, the people that I've been talking with, that's happening globally, where there's a bit more of a push to come back into the office. Not full time, but there's definitely a more structured approach to having staff back in the office, and that's not just happening in Australia. It's across Europe.
Yeah.
Yes, that's definitely the biggest point to consider.
And I think this year is going to be the tipping point for a lot of companies as well, and people and employees. We've seen it was like 2 days in the office, then it was 3 days, and then there's some other and then it's been pushing to 4, and then who knows, maybe it will become 5, I don't know. But the 2 and 3 days is definitely the sweet spot. Over 3 days, people are like, oh,
Yeah,
I don't know.
correct.
I don't know. Is it negotiable? Is that flexible? So I think this year's going to be, we'll either see it go to 4 days and then everyone will follow suit, or we'll see it keep it 2 to 3.
Yeah.
They'll push it back because they'll have a lot of people who are leaving because of that.
Yes, and definitely for organizations, that will become a selling point for them.
Yeah,
Something
definitely.
to consider.
Yeah.
Does following up after an interview increase a candidate's chance of being remembered?
I'd say it's a little bit of both, fact and myth. Again, it depends on the organization. It depends on the individual. It depends whether the individual is working through an agent or not. I think if you're going directly with a company, I think a follow-up email shows that you're definitely interested. It shows professionalism. You're thanking them for their time, but it doesn't make or break their decision whether you send a follow-up email or not. That's sort of my take on it. I think it's nice, but if you're not the right person, you're not the right person.
And it also depends on the tone of your email. That's really important. Yeah. Keep it professional. I don't think it can harm by just saying thank you for your time. Appreciate it. I've never seen an instance where that has swayed a decision. It could leave a really good impression. You just never know what roles are coming down the line. Because you've left an impression, you might be the next person that they contact going, hey, we had this great interview with this great candidate, very professional. Are you interested in this role that we have available? So it can't hurt, but it's definitely not going to.
No.
I haven't seen it sway interview decisions. Second last one. Will increasing the number of interviews always improve a hiring decision?
No. No. If you've got so many interviews and you keep asking, who else is out there? Who else is out there? That just gets frustrating on everyone's behalf because the candidates are waiting, you're making slow decisions. There is potentially no one else out there. The first person you interviewed could have been the best person. And I don't know, I think, it comes down to trusting your gut and just,
knowing what you're looking for.
Exactly.
Knowing
Take
what you're
a
looking for.
chance.
Yes.
Trust your gut, and then also realize that sometimes looking at one really good resume doesn't mean that there's nobody else out there either. Did I say that right?
Yeah, I think you can look at it from both ways. It's increasing the amount of people that you're interviewing, and also, on the other hand, increasing the number of interviews that one candidate has to go through.
Yeah.
So usually we have a 2-round interview. Sometimes it's 1 round, but usually it's a 2-round interview. But I have had organizations that do 6-round interviews.
Yeah.
Which
That's a lot.
It probably depends on the level of the role that you're going through, that you probably have a bit more probity to go through in terms of the level of people that you need to meet. It's good for the candidate to understand who's the people that we will be working with. But I know that those processes take 2 months, 3 months to get through the whole process of just the interviews. So there's a place for it, I would say, but as a norm, I don't think it'll always increase your ability to get this candidate out there.
I we do have a client that does this, and it's not their whole process, but I think they do this really well, is that the first interview that they go into is with HR and the hiring manager. So they get a little bit more about the company with the HR in terms of that cultural fit, but then it's also quite a technical interview as well. And then the second interview that they do is they're getting a little bit more feel about the company. They're going around, they're seeing the environment, they're seeing the team, they're, meeting with the executives. So they understand like who the company is, what it's about, what's the working environment, but also that candidate can go in there and like it's more of a casual sort of meet and greet, that second part of it. So it's not so formal. So that candidate can experience what it would be like in that environment. And it seems to always work quite well.
Yeah, candidates come away going, yeah, I've got a good feel for it, or I have a few more questions. So I think that that's
Yeah.
thorough.
Yeah.
That's really thorough for both the candidate and the client to get a good feel for not just the role, but the organization itself. And yes, that's not foolproof.
Mm.
It's not a perfect exact science, but it definitely gives a bit more exposure. The last one, which is an interesting one for us. Candidates form opinions about an organization based on the recruitment experience, even if they haven't been hired. 100% yes. Yes, yes. We are the mouthpiece of an organization. And in a lot of circumstances, we are the first person that might speak to a candidate for the first time about an organization that they've never heard of. And if their experience with us is a negative one, unfortunately, that has a strong
Snowballs.
potential to have an impact on a client that we represent. And we take that responsibility very serious. So number one, we will represent the organization we are representing as best
Like
as
it's
we
our
can,
own.
as if we're hiring as an internal employee. But we also have to believe in the organization. So
Definitely.
it's that double-sided, because we can't sell something and tell our candidates the best company out there if we don't
We don't.
believe that it is.
Yeah. Or if we
So
don't trust.
correct. So it's about us being part of the journey with the company so that we can take the candidates on that same journey. Hugely important. Yes.
Yeah. It's our job to make them excited and to get, them thinking, oh, yeah, that sounds amazing. This is a really great company. But we know hand on our heart that we're representing a really good company. So we can get excited with them because we
Correct.
know the opportunity that can come with it.
Yeah, correct. There's a whole bunch more of myths and facts we can go through, but we might save one or two for another episode. Yes, that's us. That's where the market sits at the moment. It's definitely a little bit quieter, but the basic facts still apply. Make sure you've got your resume tailored towards the role you're applying for. Please read the ads. We've got a roll up at the moment that specifically says the role is 4 days a week in the office. We've made it very clear, and we still have candidates asking if it's a remote opportunity. So please read the ads. That will save everybody time and will make you be very specific to the roles that you do apply for. Make sure you tailor your CV. Make sure your LinkedIn is up to date. Make sure your Seek profile is up to date at the back end.
And get networking.
And get networking.
Yeah. The face-to-face networking is a game changer. And I know a lot of people that have gotten jobs purely through their network.
Yeah.
It's who you know sometimes. Yeah. So get networking. Step out of that comfort zone.
So here's to 2026.
Yes.
Bring it on.
Very excited.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good year. I feel it.
Yeah. We like even numbers.
Yes. True.
There you go. That's us.
Thank you so much for joining us on another episode of Conversations That Connect.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends.
Connect with us on social media at Montague Group on LinkedIn and Facebook. And please feel free to drop us a line with any topics you would like us to discuss, and of course, any questions that you do have.
Until next time, guys, stay curious and stay connected.